Good morning, everybody. Good morning, everybody. You're all welcome to this special occasion. Here we have our queen. She will introduce herself to you. Please, our teachers, come over here. Omo Reggae, please come over. This is Tawa.
You can see we have a resource person on ground. You can see a beauty queen. You can see our chiefs together. We can see the representative from our district. First, you can see your counselor, Mrs. Bajoma and Mrs. Ido. You might be wondering what the program is all about. Young women, isn't it? What are you all proud to be? Girls?
Yes, ma'am.
Are you sure?
Yes, ma'am.
Or maybe somehow, somewhere, sometime you've been intimidated because you're a girl. Hello? Is that your story? If you are proud to be a girl, a female child, put your hands together. Hello? At times, some of you may just run into the counselor's office. Hey, mommy, I'm having stomachache. Mommy, I'm having cramps. I'm having this. And we'll ask, the question we normally ask is it your NP? Hello? How many of you understand what I'm saying? So when somebody says, is it your NP? Do you feel ashamed? No. So today, we are celebrating our reality as women, what God has deposited in us. We need not be ashamed. And we have a beauty queen here. We have a district representative, and we want to talk about the reality of life as a male child. So let me just hand over the mic to open the program with a prayer. I don't want a student from volunteer. Okay, today's Hallelujah. Can you just come?
Hi guys, my name is Ali Alat Morenikich. In the name of God, the most beneficent, the most merciful, powerful God, miraculous God, please accept our prayer. Oh God, please bless whatever we came here to do. Please let us be a good impact in our life, not a bad one. Whatever they teaches us today about reality of MP, which is menstrual period, oh God, please let it stick to our heads. In the name of God, I pray.
From Keke Senior High School to stand up, come to the front for the national anthem. To lead us in the national anthem.
Now reciting the national anthem. Of 1, 2, 7. Arise, O compassion. Nigerians are moving to serve our Fatherland. With more and strength and faith, the Lord in response shall never be in vain. To serve without and none, one nation born in freedom, peace and unity. O God of creation, thou art a noble God, guide our leaders right, ever use and choose to know, in love and honesty to grow, and live in just and truth. With lofty and success, to build a nation where peace and justice reign. The pledge. I pledge to Nigeria, my country, to be faithful, loyal, and honest, to serve Nigeria with all my strength, to defend our unity, uphold honor and glory, so help me God. The anthem. Education, history, sport, we are not for excellence. Providing our citizenry with quality education to produce tomorrow, leaders of district knowledge, great skills and characters, in ambition statement. Excellence is our truth. Excellence is our pride. If I
Thank you so much. That was beautiful. Now we want to go to the introduction of schools, invited schools. We have Stadium Junior Grammar School, led by Mrs. Omori. Also we have Estate Junior High School, led by Mrs. Awad. And of course we have the host school, Keke Senior High School. And sports woman. Then I want to introduce principal in absentia. I come to the high table. She is Mrs. Moritiwo T.O. You can see she's not here now. She's on special duty, and VPs, they're also doing one thing or the other there. They are very, very busy. That is why you don't have them here seated. Now back to the high table. We have a district officer in person, Mr. Shidru. God bless you, sir. And of course, the queen herself, she will introduce herself. Put your hands together.
Hello girls, how are you this morning? Are you sure you're happy? You're sounding very cool. Okay, so now I have the floor and I have the time to rock mine with you, right? If you're happy and you know it, give yourself a big clap. So I have to say, my name is Eddie Benomor. I like to be referred as Queen Eddie, and presently I'm the Miss Next Rated International Model 2020. Basically, and I'm the visitor as well, right? Okay, so the program we're having today is Project Party with A Damsel. We're supposed to be partying, meaning we should have a DJ or music around, but it's not party in the sense of dancing or jumping or rocking. It's party in the sense of celebrating our period realities, accepting who we are as girls, as women who menstruate once every month for the next many years of our lives until menopause sets in. Are we together? Okay, so that's what we're here for. And to achieve that, we're going to be giving you some items that would help you, inform you, and guide you in your journey. And I'm here with my big sister. I want to say thank you for being part of me. I love you so much. Okay, so
We know the name of it.
big sister's name is Udeme Umo, aka Yudi Princess. Yeah, so I'm Eddie and she's Yudi Princess. Isn't that nice? Please clap for us. Okay, so let's quickly go straight into what we have. How many of you here know about what menstruation is? Oh, okay, that's nice. Almost all of you. So what I'm going to be sharing with you today will be very new, but you may hear it in a new way. Am I correct? Okay, so before I go ahead, when we were making plans to choose which schools to go to, Mr. Siju recommended some other schools, but later, we had to change the clock to these three amazing schools. And I learned that you girls are one of the smartest girls in our gay district. Okay, so one person should quickly stand up and tell us what menstruation is. You can see my mic with me, so come over right there. In fact, let me even come down there. Menstruation is the monthly flow of blood through the vagina. Who else wants to try? Just one more person. Okay, let me have it here.
Menstruation is the monthly release of blood through the vagina.
You are all correct. They are missing something out. Sometimes we listen to people define what menstruation is, and they mention only these two things. There are other important factors you need to know about menstruation that should be in the definition. Okay, so I'm going to quickly do that, but I would like to read it from what I wrote in this booklet, which you will have afterwards. Okay, so menstruation, also known as period, okay, is the monthly discharge of blood. Don't worry, you don't need to write. You will all get this, so you can have more information. So I'll just read that line, okay, so you listen. Menstruation is the monthly discharge of blood, of mucosal tissue, of water and of nutrients that would have been used to nourish a fertilized ovum, right, in the womb. And that happens through the vagina. Most times when I have opportunities to speak with girls like this and I use the word vagina, many girls scream like, what is vagina? I should not use vagina in the public. Yeah, it refers to a private place in the body, but we should not be ashamed of using that word. However, if you're in a place where it is not very conducive for you to say vagina, you can play around with this and call it Patricia. How about that? So I'll play with the word vagina and Patricia. You know what I'm referring to, right? So that is what menstruation is. You have blood, you have water in there, you have some nutrients that have been used to nourish a fetus if the eggs they were fertilized. Okay, so it's not just blood. There are other things that comes out along, and it doesn't just come out to the vagina. It comes out to the vaginal cavity. Now the vagina is a holistic body, just like you have your hand, right? There are different parts of your hand. You have the elbow, the shoulder, you have the elbow, you have the wrist, and then the fingers, right? Now in the vagina there are other parts, okay? And the vaginal cavity is just one of the parts, and that is where the menstruation flows from. Do you want me to mention the other parts? You're all looking so curious. Should I mention them? Okay, so you have the clitoris, you have the urethra, you have the labia majora and the labia minora. There are the two small lips that covers the cavity itself. Okay, then there are other parts. There is the Pitolin's gland that releases some secretion that protects your vaginal environment. Okay, so having said that, I'll quickly go to premenstrual symptoms. So for some girls that are just starting their menstruation, the first menstrual flow experience girl has is called what? Menarche. I wasn't one of the smartest and most brilliant girls in this district, right? Okay, so you're correct. It is pronounced menarche. Okay, not menarche. It is pronounced menarche, and that is the first experience that a girl has, when menstruating. Okay, so what are some signs that you notice? Let's be interactive. I want this to be lively. Some premenstrual symptoms called PMS. Some symptoms that comes before that shows you that okay, your period is coming. Go and buy your pad. Go and prepare yourself. What are some of those signs? Okay, you're coming up over to have a gift for you at the end of today. Okay. All right. So let me hear one. Shall just mention it. Cramps. Okay. Who else here? You said? Running stomach. Yes. Your bowel will begin to, there will be more metabolism, so that will make you want to go to the toilet more frequently. Some other person, yeah? Raise up your hand. Waist pain, yes, you experience some cramps at your lower back region, and it needs to be very, very disturbing. Someone was raising a hand behind there, yeah? Okay, you notice just some droppings, like okay, this thing has come, you think it's urine, but it's something else. Pimples, that's very, very correct. Many girls have experienced pimples, and you see when you're moving during your puberty, your puberty period, that's when you're transitioning to adolescence. These are very prevalent signs. The pimples all over your faces, you leave black spots and all that. It's also part of the PMS. Okay, for me, I experience of pimples on my face, and it can be very, discomforting. So I just put powder and make it cover up, but then I don't feel shy about it. Okay, so these are the most common PMSs. Okay, some girls feel moody. You just realize that you are drawn back. Friends, you don't want to be all over. You just want to sit down and be yourself. Like, just want to be alone. It's part of the symptoms. it's called mood swing. Okay, so quickly move from there to personal hygiene. Now this is where many people get it wrong. In fact, sometimes I even as an adult, I still try to struggle with it sometimes. Okay, but because of the experiences I've had and the information I now have, okay, that's I think I shouldn't go this way. I ensure that I attain a level of menstrual hygiene so that I don't get infections, I don't get a lot of things. So let's talk about personal hygiene. How many of you observe personal hygiene during period and give me examples of what you do? So I'll take from those behind, so I'm sure you're hearing me. There's some single girls at the back there. So can I hear from you girls? Okay, getting blue. Regularly means like how many times in a day? At least 2 times in a day. Okay, so morning and night and even in the afternoon. If you're at home, you have access to water. You can always bath when you want to change. Okay, let me hear from you. At how many times? 3 times in a day. Okay, so that depends on the quality of your flow. If your flow is heavy, of course you should know that by the time like on the first or second or third day you usually have heavy flow. You shouldn't use your pad for more than 6 hours because even 6 hours is quite is much. If your flow is very heavy, your pad will get soaked before you know it, and of course you have to change. So it depends on how heavy or how light your flow is. Towards the end of your period, if your flow is lighter, of course you can have it for at least 12 hours or at least 12 hours before you change. Okay, so I think you guys are very correct, very, very correct. Now there's some things I'd like to say. The kind of food you eat, that is also part of your personal hygiene. Now try to avoid junk foods during your period because it will make your tummy dirty, and when your tummy is dirty, it can cause you bad breath. Okay, now many girls kind of feel shy to speak up in the public because they experience bad breath. If you're not born with bad breath, it's probably just some bacteria in your tummy causing consistent metabolic action, and you haven't cleaned up your tummy. Now when you have bad breath, it could affect your confidence level. Okay, so one of the things you do to increase your confidence is to ensure that you uphold a high level or standard of personal hygiene, and that includes the kind of food that you eat. Take fruits, more vegetables and water. Okay, don't take junk. Try to reduce. Girls who do a lot of snacky things, biscuits, meat pie, popcorn. Try to reduce your consumption of that so that it doesn't affect your tummy. Okay, and then water is very important, especially during menstruation. One of the times a girl needs a lot of water is when she's menstruating, and that is because you need to have your bath, you need to drink a lot of water, you need to use hot water or a hot water bottle to handle cramps. Okay, so you need to have access to a lot of water, right? Okay, let's move quickly to how you can be period ready. Many times some girls are they are taken by surprise when their period comes. They feel, this one has come again. What am I going to do? I don't have pad, I don't have anything in me, and I'm in school. And your uniforms are brightly colored, so your stains will easily show. And you begin to feel shy and withdrawn and all manner of negative emotions, like what is this one still? Why am I even a girl? Right? Most of you feel that way sometimes. So what you can do to eliminate that kind of feeling is to ensure that you are period ready. Now I call that period preparedness. And this means 2 things. 1, you need to understand your calendar, and then 2, you need to have some mornings down, right? Meaning if you have mornings down, you know that you can buy your pad at least 1 week ahead. So you need to try to cultivate the habit of saving, even if it is 15 naira twice in a week. Before your next period, you should be able to save up 400 or 500 naira to buy pad for yourself. Now, many times when I bring up this conversation, people argue, how about girls in rural communities who don't have money, you know, their parents are poor and all that? Well, for those who don't have the money, there can be alternative measures for that. But for you who have access to at least 200 naira in a week, this is one of the things that is called self-love. Giving yourself a preferential treatment. So you ask for that 200, you can keep 15 naira and say, okay, 15 naira or 100 naira in 4 weeks should be able to give you 400 or 450 if you do your maths well. And a pack of powder should be able to carry you for one cycle pack, depending on how heavy your light of flow is. So peer preference has to do with knowing how to use your calendar. We're going to look at that when we give you guys the items, because the calendar is there and we want to show you practically how to do it. Okay, how many of you can calculate your cycle here? Okay, so very few. So even if we have almost every girl here that knows what menstruation is, only few of you can calculate your cycle, and that gives girls a whole lot of trouble. So we're going to dissect it. So we have whiteboard. Okay, so we'll dissect it here. Okay, so that is it for period preparedness, understanding your cycle and having finance ready for that. Okay, so next is how to stay excellent at school. Now, when I was in secondary school like you many years ago, I remember when I was in class and I remember that experience and it makes my heart beat. So I would take the class, an admin class after break, and then the teacher wasn't around, so we were all making noise in class. And I happened to be the assistant class captain, but yes, that was in JS3. And on that day, I was menstruating. Now, because I didn't have a lot of information about periods and what it feels like, I just wore a pad to school and that was it. I didn't carry extra. So by half of school day, I was already soaked and I could feel it. I could not stand up from my chair. The class was noisy, so the teacher passed, and this teacher always likes to blow those girls on their butt. I just knew that we were done for because we were going to come in and do what he knows how to do best. So he came in, got the class to be quiet, asked what was happening, asked for the class captain, for the assistant class captain, and we were all dumbfounded. Next thing he brought out his cane. Oh yeah, all of you come and line up. Hey, it was my turn. Come and see drama. I really didn't know what to do because I was scared. I didn't want to stand up. I didn't want my skirts to show those things, and it was really, really unkind. And I tried to explain to him that, please, I can't come out. I'm having my stomach pain and all that, but he wouldn't listen, and he insisted on flogging me on my butt, even when I even opted to get the beatings on my hand. So sometimes we can have experiences like that with teachers, we can have experiences with other students, and it can even affect our performance in school. Now, how do you stay excellent in school as a menstruating girl? One is what I mentioned before, period preparedness. If you are well prepared for your next period, okay, your next menstrual experience, you will know how to organize yourself ahead of time. You will know that you shouldn't use only one part to school, or even if you use one part to school, you should have 2 extra. And even if you have just finished your period, you should always have 1 or 2 extra parts in your bag, because you are not the only girl in this world, right? Some other girl may eventually see her period same day and she needs some form of help, and you could just be that angel God has positioned to help that girl and save her from embarrassment. So 1 is to be period prepared and period ready, and then 2 is to understand what your symptoms are, and 3 is to design for yourself a way of handling menstrual cramps. Now, menstrual cramps could be very, very discomforting. I remember I almost fainted in school because of period cramps. I didn't know where I was. I felt like I was floating. It was so bad. I was throwing up. It was really, really discomforting, and I had to miss class for that day. By this time, I was in the university. I had to miss class for the rest of the day. And when you miss classes as a student, It tells on your performance, your exams, and your results, right? So you don't want to miss classes, and you want to get yourself prepared. So you should go with a pad. You should know how to deal with your cramps. If you need to take warm water with you to school, please do that. You're giving yourself preferential treatment and self-love. Are we together? Okay. Another way you can stay excellent is to recite or remind yourself that this body is what God has designed, experience, and you can succeed and thrive and even do better than other people. So it is a mindset thing. People think that girls who are menstruating are 7 steps behind. No, we are 7 steps ahead, and you can do way better than other people or what people think about us. Okay, so you need to work on your mind. Alright, have I said anything important to you today? Yes. Are you sure? Yes. Okay, I'm happy to hear that. So, like I said, we didn't intend keeping you girls for too long. We understand that this is your class time. You should be in class, but you have been selected amongst others to come and listen to this. So what you have heard today, please feel free to share with your friends. Okay, feel free to talk about periods. Many people think that talking about menstruation is a taboo. No, that was many years ago, and for reasons we really don't know. We're just shy about it. But you know what? Your body was made or is made in God's image, and whether you're a woman or you're a man, whether you're menstruating or not, this is who you are. So feel free to talk about periods unashamedly. Don't be ashamed about it. Anybody who asks you questions, answer them directly and answer them confidently, because this is who you are. Okay. Now, let me just give an insight to how some girls in rural communities are dealing with periods in the most weird ways. Some girls use things like pieces. When I say pieces, it means rags. Some may be dirty rags or just pieces of cloth that is not worth putting in the body. Some use leaves, some use paper, some use tissue. Many girls in many other communities are handling period in very weird ways. So if you are opportune to have access to these girls, please be kind enough to show them some love by giving them pad. Okay? Now there are different types of pad. How many of us know that? Are different types of pad. Do you want to share with me? Are you on the extreme? Okay, let me rephrase my statement, because when I say pad, it means a pad refers to a particular type of brand. Feminine hygiene products. Okay, so there are different types of feminine hygiene products. And when I say feminine hygiene products, I mean things that ladies use, especially in connection to menstruation. Okay, so we have different types of products, such as reusable pads, disposable pads. We have menstrual cups. We have the tampons. Do we know about tampons? Tampons are not mostly used here in Nigeria. In Africa, we find tampons and menstrual cups in Western countries like the UK, US. Okay, so mostly out there, that's what they use. But here we are first of all accustomed to reusable pads. When I say reusable pads, it is also known as pieces, but this time it is modernized and it's a lot more healthier and hygienic to use. Okay, then we have the disposable sanitary pads. These are the ones like we're giving an example of Lady Care, Always, Diva. There are so many of them now in the market. But people react to these, girls and women react to these pads in different ways. Some people have rashes rather, and then they observe them some itching in their body. Some, their skin is just, it just irritates their skin, and they prefer to use some other hygiene products. Okay, so you need to understand what product works best for you so that you can plan yourself on how to consistently have access to these products and use them. Are we together? Okay, so like I said, that's the last thing I'll share. Do you have questions before we go to the next thing? Yeah, questions? Okay. If you have questions, okay, just come out here so that we can take them one after the other and answer.
I want to ask, is it possible for a period to last for 7 days?
Yes, it is. The maximum duration for your period is about 2 to 7 days. Yeah, so even if your period comes for just 2 to 3 days, it's fine. As long as you observe that it is consistent, it doesn't change irregularly. When your period is irregular, maybe 2 days, next month 5 days, and it comes out to 3 days, and then you're just like that, you have to check your body. There could be things that are responsible for that, like infection. Okay, and there could be an infection that will be responsible for that, and you don't want to keep infection in your body for too long because you are a woman. Infection will not just stay down here, it will go up into your uterus. The uterus is also known as the womb, and if there is an infection in your uterus, it could affect your chances of fertility, your chances of having a baby in the future. So any trace of infection should be immediately and properly handled. Okay? So your period can last for 7 days, yes.
My question is that when you see a period for 3 days, without feeling anything, is it normal?
It's very normal. People are even looking for that kind of period, not to be pains. Okay, so it's very, very normal.
Is it all day of the life? Is it when you enter puberty? Is it getting?
No, you menstruate for a woman has an average life menstrual experience of about 20 something years if you put them together. Like if you bring all the months, all the days rather, and calculate it in a calendar period, it's about 20 something to 30 something years of their lives. Okay, so once you enter into puberty, like 2 years after, it doesn't just come immediately. Okay, let's say you start experiencing puberty from now to December to next year to like maybe 6 months later. So let's say a year and 6 months or 2 years into puberty is when menstruation comes. Okay, now from then on till you are about 50, now it's a bit earlier, 48, 50, 55, 60, you transit into what is called menopause. And menopause is a state where your body no longer produces eggs. Okay, so when there are no eggs to be fertilized, the body naturally knows that okay, it's time to shut down anything that has to do with fertility. Okay, so there is no longer any experience of menstruation. You just have normal bodily fluid coming out of your patricia, right? Okay.
What if every month your period keeps changing dates?
How do you make sure it is
Like this month I come on here. It's like another month you come like 50.
Said if you have irregular period, you need to first of all check that you don't have any form of infection. And then another thing that could cause irregular period is when you are taking drugs, especially antibiotics. In fact, my recent experience, I wasn't experiencing my period until 20 something, but I realized that it came like 4 days before. And I remember that weeks back, I took antibiotics for, I was coughing, so I took antibiotics, and antibiotics has a way of affecting your period. Either it moves it forward or it brings it backward, depending on what your cycle is. So first of all, you need to check if you're taking any form of drug that maybe could affect your hormonal activity, because periods are stirred up by hormonal changes. Okay, So if that is not happening, then you need to check if you have an infection. Okay? Alright, next question. I think you have just two.
Is it normal for you to have your period 2 times a month? Like you see it the first time, you can see it for 5 days, the first time, the second time, you see it for another 4 days.
Okay, now this is actually a very interesting experience. First of all, it is normal to see your period in 2 months. Come. The last person, is that what you wanted to ask? Are you sure? Okay, so it is, first of all, it is possible to have that experience on this factor. You want to ask a question? Okay, just wait. Let me finish answering this one. On 2 factors. First is the factor of your cycle. If your cycle, for instance, in a calendar month of 31 days, if your cycle is 28 days apart, you may experience your period twice in March. Let me use March for an example. March has 31 days. So you may finish your period in the first week of March, right? And on the last week of March, you will start another one. That is because within March, you can have a 28 days complete cycle. And the cycle is the difference between your last period and your new period. So on that case, it is possible to see your cycle twice in a month. Now, on the another case, there is a phenomenon. I don't really remember what the name is, but it is something like telepathy. Now, telepathy is a form of communication whereby you and a close friend, you're quite close, and you are always thinking about each other at the same time. Okay, now there is a phenomenon like that in menses where you are with a friend. Maybe you just finish your period. It's quite funny, and these are things that science cannot really explain. You just finish your period, and then your friend, maybe 2, 3, 4, or a week later, 5 days or a week later, you're with a friend who just started her period, and the next thing you go home and you see that you have stains on your pants. It happens. So there is something that is called, if time permits, I probably can check it and then let you guys know. But if not, this is an information age. So why not I give you that as an assignment? You learn every day, so this is something you should learn. Okay. Now on another note, which may be abnormal, I've given you 2 instances now, and the third instance is, like I said, you may have an infection or taking something that your body is reacting to, the hormones in your body is reacting to, or you take a contraceptive. Many girls do this, and that is not good. You have intercourse with a male, and then you're scared that you don't want to get pregnant, and then you go out and take contraceptive. It could reschedule your period. And let's say you have an intimate experience, a sex experience with an opposite partner during your period, and you felt that maybe he poured his semen into you, and you were scared of getting pregnant, and then you go ahead and take a contraceptive. It will cause you to bleed for another 1 to 2 weeks, and because it's something you're afraid of, maybe I've got to tell someone and dealing with it in the most unkind way to yourself. So these are 3 scenarios that could cause a person to menstruate twice in a month. So if you find yourself in any of these scenarios, you should understand what it is and what you can do. Have I answered the question properly? Okay.
When we talk about cramps, what does it mean?
Nice. Cramps is another word for pain, period pain. Yeah, it happens at the lower abdomen or your lower back. Okay? Now, cramps is caused by a number of factors. The kind of food you eat, if you take too much sugar or too much salt, it will increase the production of a particular chemical in your body, which is called prostaglandins. Okay, now prostaglandins is not the chemical that makes you feel pain. It is the action of prostaglandins on your blood cells that makes you feel the pain. So contraction in your abdominal region, and that is what leads to menstrual cramps, menstrual pains. Okay, so that contraction, most times if it doesn't come every month, like maybe once or twice during your period or in your cycle, it may come this month and it may not happen next month, okay? But you feel that there's this pull and push, as if, and then next thing you feel a sudden urge to want to use the toilet. Now that cramps, the contraction presses itself on your intestinal walls and make you feel pressed to want to pass out poo, right? So that is just one of the effects of cramps. It makes you want to use the toilet, okay, and it makes you feel dizzy. It could make you feel confused. It could make you feel very, very emotional, like withdrawn, because you don't know what to do. And I think you can do to reduce the cramps. Which is one, using having a hot bath, or using a heat wrap, or taking certain pain relievers that can be gotten over the counter. Okay, you can get them over the counter, but you don't just go get an over the counter drug. You should talk to either a doctor or a pharmacist, right? Okay, so the last question.
Is it possible for a twin to see their period same day?
Okay, so that is what I have not explored. Wow, for a twin to see their period the same day. Well, technically speaking, if they have the same cycle, right? However, I know what a cycle is. I said I was going to do that using the calendar. If they have the same cycle, they can see their period the same day. It's possible, or in a 12 hours interval. So it's possible if they have the same cycle. So it does not have anything to do with maybe because they are twins. It just has to do with their calendar. Right? I'm going to ask a question. Okay, I'm here for you.
What can we take it to ease menstrual pain?
In terms of drugs, okay, it depends on what your body would adapt to. Some people can take Panadol or paracetamol and it works for them. It doesn't work for me. Some people can take ibuprofen and it works for them. Ibuprofen is a stronger pain reliever, so that can work. Okay.
If you are feeling very tired, very weak or lazy during menstruation, what could cause this?
It's just the whole experience, the mood swing, right? You want to answer that? It's just swing. It's just the way the body is. That's the word. It's a psychological issue. And you know something? As teenagers, once your body starts this experience, it takes some time because it's a new thing for the body. So it takes a lot of getting used to for the body. And in that process, you get to experience lots of, changes. It could be changes in how you feel. It could be changes in how you smell. The kind of food you want to eat. Changes in appetite. You may want more chocolate during your period. And after your period, what is chocolate? You just, I'm tired of chocolate. So we have an example, an ice cream. Okay, I think you have a sister. I love chocolate, really food, but I try to avoid it because it's sugary, okay? However, chocolate is healthy. It has some healthy components too. So you should just love chocolate as a girl. Okay, questions? Let me see how much more time we have because we still have something to do. I think I'll stop here and we'll quickly go ahead and give you. Okay, let's just start sharing. I think we should start sharing the items.
Somebody asked a question about pains. What do you take when you feel menstrual cramps? So before you take any medicine, it's advisable that you see a doctor. You don't just go to the counter to buy drugs. Sometimes it's just exercise that you need. You might just wake up and let me stretch. You stretch. It might even help you rather than taking a medicine that the doctor has not recommended. So before you take any drug for your pains, make sure you see a doctor. Otherwise, do an exercise. Okay, don't go to the chemist and buy medicine for yourself because you're feeling pain. Talk to somebody, talk to your mom, talk to an elder woman, talk to a doctor, talk to a pharmacist before you take any drug. Okay.
It's your period and once in 2 months.
Once in 2 months, like I said before, and for starters, it may not come regularly. I mean, not an early starter. So, like I said before, you need to check. Something could be wrong.
It could be that the person is actually maybe sexually active, you're taking pills, you're trying to avoid pregnancy. So in a case like that, you just need to see a doctor. Do not take any other drug. If you're having your period coming once in 2 months and it's consistent, then you have to see a doctor about it. Do you understand? Don't be scared. It's normal. Not you now, whoever the person is, whenever it happens, just like we advise, we always say abstinence is key. So it's even safer of you to abstain completely from sexual activities so that you don't have strange issues happening. Do you understand? Then, sorry, Terry, I have 1 or 2 things I wanted to chip in. I'll be talking about you. Okay, thank you. Now, the first thing I'd like to say is when it comes to your period, in changing your menstrual pads, because that's what most of us use, please, it should be between 4 to 6 hours. Please listen, this is very important. Do not use a menstrual pad for 12 hours. Do not use it for 8 hours. It should be between 4 to 6 hours. 4 hours for those whose flows are very, very heavy. Then 6 hours max for those who have very light flows. Then the second thing is for those who have cramps, one other very natural way, she actually chipped in what I was going to say about seeing a pharmacist before taking drugs. You can have a homemade hot water bottle. How do you do it? It's very easy. There's something called a douche bag. You might not be able to afford it, but for your homes, you have your Eva containers, right? Your water bottles that use disposable bottles that use fetching water and everything. Okay. So what you do is fill it with hot water. Hope you can hear me. You're having severe pain. Fill it with hot water. You wrap your towel around it. Then lay gently on it. Now you can either lay on it or you put it on your abdomen. It relieves instantly. I hope you can hear me. So instead of rushing out to buy drugs and stuff, just try that. It works fine.
Above all, run away from sedentary kind of life. Is that taking? Exercise your body. Exercise your body. If you don't want pain, you don't want to fall sick, always involve yourself in physical exercise. Is that taking?
Yes, ma'am.
Take good food. Rest when it is necessary. Exercise your body regularly. It shall be well with you.
On a final note, before our queen comes, I want to beg of you. I believe that the oldest among you here can be more than 18. If you are more than 18, let me see your hands up. You are more than 18. Only one man. Hello, let me see your hands if you are more than 18. Okay, maybe you are, yes, maybe you are. Now, who can define a child for me? Who can give me a good definition of a child? Hello, very simple definition. Who can do that for me quickly?
Child is a blessing from God.
A child is a baby. A child is a result of fertilization in the womb.
Am I
not mentally, physically, and socially developed.
Okay, just one more try.
A child is a person from 0 to 17 years old.
Child is somebody below 18 years. Hello? So I believe that over 50% of us here are children. And even if you are 18 or above, even if you are 21, I don't believe you should expose yourself to sex. Sex is meant for people that are married. That is just a simple truth. You have a lot of people suffering from STDs. Do you know what STDs are? Sexually transmitted diseases. Let me quickly give you a short story. I went to a ward at last week, some years back. I went to check on a niece. Getting there, I met a girl, yes, a 16-year-old girl. She was being admitted into that room. And of course, she had an operation. So I was amazed. How could a 16-year-old be at Ayike? You know where they call Ayike? That's a particular place for maternity. They call it maternity section. So show me a girl in a maternity ward. What could she be doing there? Show me a virgin in a maternity ward. What could she be doing there? At the end of my visit there, I learned that the girl got pregnant, and probably the boyfriend maybe wanted to help her to get rid of it. So they used some drugs. I don't know. In the long run, it affected her womb, and she was the only girl in the family. All they could do was just to save her life. And what does that mean? Who can tell me among you? Who can tell me what they did? I said she had an operation.
She committed abortion.
Yes, she committed abortion. Why do you think they had to operate her? If my question is not clear enough. What did you think they removed?
So that they can remove the child.
Remove her womb. They remove her womb. God bless you. At 16, in fact, she still just like you. Very low haircut. So for you to know that she was still a child at that time. So what we normally do to you is that you run away from not just unprotected sex, from sex if you have not gotten married. It's not meant for you. Even if you are 20 years, it is not meant for you. My Bible says that marriage is honorable and the bed undefiled. And I believe that the Muslims among you have something to say about it too. So we're not just talking about menstruation and all of that here. So if you must avoid anything that has to do with maybe abortion or sexually transmitted disease, then you avoid sex. Abstinence is the key. God bless you.
Hello. On this note, I have a song to chip in. For what the Queen have said, for what the other teachers have said as well. You might have heard it. It might not have a resounding meaning to you. But from this very time, I don't have something to be your watchword. Always have it at the back of your mind. Let it be ringing in your brain, and let it be your watchword. And it goes thus. From this very day, until I will say I do, I will never have premarital sex. You know the song? Yes. Let's make it together. 1, 2, go. From this very day until I will say I do, I will never have what I'm giving. What I have is
what I'm giving.
what I have is what I'm giving.
What I have is what I'm giving.
If I have HIV, I will give HIV, because if you are my boyfriend, whatever I have, if you have an unprotected sex with me or a premarital sex, whatever I have in my body, that's what I'm going to give to you. So what I have is what I'm giving.
What I have is what I'm giving.
If I have gonorrhea, I will give gonorrhea. If I have syphilis, I will give syphilis, because what I have is what I'm giving.
What I have is what I'm giving.
Amazing session, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so lastly, please let me have a pass. You've received some items from us. Everybody has this. If you don't have, let me see you. Your hands up. If you don't have, you all have. Okay, so I'm happy about that. Now, if you open your pack, you'll see that you have 4 items in there. You have a pocket Bible. You have this booklet. This booklet contains period calendar and period affirmations. Those are the 2 most important components of content of this booklet. And then you have an emergency pad. I call this an emergency pad. It's just 2 in 1. Okay, many times when we have our periods, we usually need more than 2. So, but this is just for immediate use. So you can have this in your bag always. If your friend or yourself should have a sudden flow, you can quickly use it. So I'll show you how to use this on a pant. Now this is a period pouch. I call this a pad pouch because you can quickly slip in your pad and hold it fashionably and decently. Okay, you don't need to fling your pads all over the place because you're menstruating. You will not be carrying and be walking up and down. No, you don't need to do that. You can decently fold it into this pouch. Okay, and then fashionable, decent. That way you have the menstruation with dignity. Are we together? Okay, so where do we start from? Your Bible. You know what the Bible is for. Now, as a child, I was introduced early enough into Christendom. I would say religion. I was introduced into being a Christian from an early age, and that has helped build a better foundation for my life, for my destiny. So I want you to have the same opportunity. Anybody could do it for you. It could be your parents at home, it could be your teachers in school, it could be someone you just have an encounter with somewhere. So from today, I want to be opportune to be that person that God can use to help you set a better foundation for your destiny, for your future, for your life. So the pocket Bible in there is for you to read and meditate on. Joshua 1:8 says, meditate, study and meditate on these things, and let them not depart from your heart, not from your mouth, and you will obtain good success. So if you want good success, when I say good success, I mean excellence, like excellence. That is the highest level of best. The word of God is watching you, whether you're a Christian or a Muslim. That word is authentic. Now, the next thing is your prayer. Can you open to your prayer calendar page? Oh, Marcus, can we have a marker? Okay, she's an ever-ready teacher. Can you open the board? Okay, so let's quickly do something. So on the calendar, you have columns numbered 1 to 31, and that's for the days in a month. Okay, some months are up to 31 days. Then on the rows you have the month from January to December. So you can book this for yourself. And the first day you see your period, is your day one in your cycle. It's called the menstrual cycle. The menstrual cycle has 3 components: your ovulation and a luteal phase. That luteal phase, you don't menstruate, you don't ovulate, your body just secretes certain healthy fluids. Okay, most times it comes out a little creamy, a little thicky. Okay, sometimes nothing even comes out. All right. So in your cycle, you have these 3 phases. Now the first phase, which is the menstruation, usually lasts for 1 to 7 days. 1 to 7 days. Okay, so let's say you have a period for within 7 days. This is the first cycle, the first phase. So my answer is equally time. You can come closer after the program to look at it. Now your second phase usually lasts from day 7 to day 14. For some people it's 5 days, for some people it's 7 days, and that is the ovulation. For each people that you're having ovulation, it's that kind of mucus-like, almost colorless fluid that comes out. Sometimes you even think that you're relating to just come out very slimy, and you're like, oh, what's happening like this? In your mind, you will feel wet in your pants. Just relax, girl. It's our thing. Okay, now the fourth phase is the luteal phase, and that can last from day 14 to day 28 in a 28-day period, in a 28-day cycle. Okay, so that's supposed to be 777, 21. Then the next 7 days in between the luteal phase and the menstruation itself, many things can happen. You can ovulate again. Some girls may ovulate twice, 2 or 3 days again before the actual period shows up. So let's say you have another extra 7 days. Okay, now how do you calculate your cycle? This is day 1 of your period. Let's say it's on 1st January. You have your first period on 1st January. Ensure that you mark it on your calendar. The first day you see your period, mark it. Okay, then you observe how your period is. I've noted down here, know your flow, so you can know heavy bleeding. Of course, your pad will get filled up on time. There's a medium, there's a lightness, there's what we call spotting. It just comes out really, really tiny, and it vanishes, marking the end of the period. Okay, now you also note your premenstrual symptoms. We talked about that earlier, so that when next your period is about to come, you know, okay, these are the signs I'm seeing. I know it is what is coming. Okay, let's wrap up now, right? Okay, so having understood that, the first day of your pregnant period till the day before this new date, right? It's kind of technical. This day, just count it backward. The day before this date on your next cycle, when count the interval between. That is what your cycle is. So you count the number of days. It could be 28 days. It could be 30 days. Okay, that's what your cycle is. Okay, so lastly, your period affirmation. Now, sometime last year, I was inspired to do this for my 13 girls. We thought that your words are powerful. So with the words, you can define the course of your life. So I've crafted here 31 period affirmations. Every day, you don't need to be menstruating on a personal day before you say these things to yourself. You can say from the home, I am healthy, I am strong, I am fit for my life's work. Okay, say it to yourself every day. Remind yourself how strong, how confident, and how able and capable you are. And I'm sure it's going to be very, very useful for you, and it will bless your life. So thank you guys. Thank you so much for listening. You're going to get into the most amazing girl in the district, right? So you help yourself. Please let our daddy say something to us.
Hello students. Did you enjoy yourself? Were you educated? Something that you didn't know before you know, and something that you know before you, isn't it? And I know that you are going to make use of what you have been taught this morning, and you are going to tell others. The instruction that you passed to you this morning, I know that you will tell others. Am I taking that from you? Now you will not only let it be for you alone, but for others. You know, you cannot bring anybody here. Other girls that are not here, when you get to your classes will just tell them this are what we have been taught. So it's a good thing that here you prove yourself again that when we are looking for school, you should have not gone to this school, but because of your pedigree, my God said, keke. You know, but one thing that once we mention keke, there is no way that we will not bring in estate and stadium. Except, you know, there's no way. So once you say keke, we are also saying stadium and estate. You have proved yourself even to the district. That's why a lot of programs will come to this place. So I don't want to encourage that continue the good name you are giving your school. And I know that the sky will be your limit. On behalf of our TDPS, I want to appreciate all of you. Appreciate our teachers that have come to this occasion and our queen. One thing, I was going through the queen stayed here. Queen studied chemistry. I studied chemistry. I said, so our queen is a scientist, not wow. The way she was explaining it, I know she must have been a scientist. Because only scientists that can talk. So we appreciate your coming. And we see you again very, very soon with another program. Or maybe next session, this is your edition, your first edition, or maybe season 1. Maybe we want to look for season 2. So thank you very much with your lecturer that God has brought to this place simply will return back in Jesus' name. Thank you very much.
For what she has done, I think she deserves a Tama clap, doesn't she? Yeah, so let's go. Atama, Labako, Agarina. Thank you. Now let's run it. Cheeky. That's too fast. Come on. Cheeky. Run it. Pass me. Again. Tell me together. Give it to her. You know it's not in peace as well. You love clap, right? Okay, do it after you know you love clapping too. Okay, let's go. 1, 2,
Good morning, everybody. Is it? Okay. My name is Amina Sojibwede. I'm from Keke Senior High School. I'm going to talk about menstruation as a period. First, menstruation can be defined as the monthly discharge of blood, nutrients, tissues through the vagina. There are many symptoms and signs of menstruation. First, we have spitting, irritation, mood swing, tender breast, and different types. We have also cramps and all that. Then I learned a lot of things. First, to abstain from sex, premature sex, because sex can also damage some things and all that. Then avoid sugary things, because if you are taking a lot of sugary things, you may have an infection or different type of things, cramps and pains. Then you don't. It's not like you should open up to elders, and it's not a must you tell. You can't tell your mom or dad. Then you should have somebody you can put your trust on. And I want to thank our Queen Eddie. Thank you a lot. And our sister, thank you a lot. And the district, thank you a lot. Thank you very much.
Good morning. My name is Abubakar Ali. I'm from SS2 Brilliant. I'm from KK Senior High School. I give a lot to the firstly meaning of menstruation. Menstruation can be defined as the monthly flow or discharge of blood. Also the symptoms, the pain, stomach pain, and the back pain. And what to do. We should always have sanitary pads in our bag, and also we should prepare for it. We should prepare for it so much, and also we should open up to someone we can trust that this person will be able to help us. And again, we should stay away from sex. We should not have premarital sex. And so much. Thank you, sir.
Good afternoon. My name is Martin Jumoke. I'm from Stadium Junior Grammar School. What I learned today. Now, before I could not, through the help of the period calendar, I could calculate the days my periods are coming. I know what is menstruation, and I'm sure many students here learn a lot of things through her. So, and I learned the day to calculate my period, stuff, what to say in the morning with the help of the Bible, the gift, the emergency pad. We really want to say thank you to Queen, our sisters, the teachers, and the districts. Thank you a lot.
Good afternoon. My name is Arashi Sekinat. I'm from Estate Junior High School. Today I learned a lot of things like menstruation is the monthly release of blood from the human's uterus through the vagina. And I also learned that females should learn to talk to people, a reliable adult. That we should also have personal hygiene when we are observing our menstruation. So also on behalf of Estate Junior High School, I say a very big thank you to our Queen Eddie because she has impacted a lot of knowledge to us this morning. Thank you.
Hello everyone, my name is Ali Alias Milan KG. I'm from Estate Junior High School District 1. And the first thank goes to our Queen Miss and Queen Miss Edudong Umo for creating this program for us. And the second thank goes to Lagos State Government, Babajide Sanwo-Olu, for giving me free education. Without him, I don't know where I'll be today. And also my third thank goes to my class teacher, my godmother, Mrs. Lawa, for bringing me here today and also identifying my way to talk in front of many people. And what I learned here today is how to count my menstrual cycle. And from now on, I'm not shy to talk about period or whenever I'm menstruating, I'll call for help. And what I learned here today is about sex, how to avoid premature sex. We all know that menstruation is the monthly release of blood through the vagina. That's what I know. But what the Queen has said today, that menstruation does not only involve blood but also water. And I would like to thank her a lot for creating these programs for all girls. And I promise another one to our lovely sister too for coming here today, for showing us what it's like to be girls. And I would like to thank my school mother, Mrs. Lawa A.O. Thank you.
I want to say a big thank you to KK Senior High School, to Estate Junior Grammar School, and to Stadium Junior Grammar School too for having me in the midst today. I'm grateful to the Teacher General, the Director of Admin, and the Desk Officer for Health in the Lagos State Education District 1 Agege. I'm grateful for the time, for the audience, and all the love they have shown to me today. Thank you very much.